Right. Okay, now let's talk about our centre-back partnership then, and I would have thought this could go on.
This centre-back, there's only one, I would say, that would pick himself.
I would think there's one that you're all agreed on,
There's
isn't
only
there?
one, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The great man.
Does he go straight in?
Yeah.
The great man.
No debate.
No debate at all.
Robert
You're
Moore.
just talking about
Sir Robert Moore.
Sir Robert, quite right.
a genius that was
Absolutely.
blessed with
Couldn't head the ball.
a God-given gift
Couldn't run.
of being probably one of the greatest footballers ever to wear an England shirt, and a West Ham shirt, and a Fulham shirt.
But that is a criticism, to be serious for a moment, that is a criticism that you could level at him, isn't
definitely.
it? Couldn't run,
I tell you,
couldn't
he
head a
wasn't
ball.
great in the air. He wasn't particularly quick. In fact, he was average at the best. And I used to
So
watch
what made him so good?
Well, a lot of things. But I can remember him in situations when the opposition right winger had the ball, and the ball was going to get about to be crossed. Now, as a defender, I used to always mark my guy with a touch mark and watch where he is. If I couldn't feel him, I knew he'd moved away, so I'd keep very close to him inside the 18-yard box. And I used to watch Bobby Moore, who would 99 times out of 100 drift towards the near post. Now, if that's a good cross, he's not going to be near the centre forward. But every time the ball seemed to hit him like a magnet.
Yeah.
And I used to think, how does he get away with that? But he did. And his anticipation, these two lads will know more than me, but his anticipation and his awareness of where the ball was going to go was first class. And the bigger the game, the better he played as well.
I mean, that's a good point. The bigger the game, the worst, or the worst I've ever seen Bob play was when he came to Fulham, and he was playing against second division footballers. Because where he used to read situations at world class level, the players in the second division would try and trap it on the knee, it'd go to the left, and Bob would go to the right. And we were playing against Middlesbrough one night. I think it was his first game, and in 20 minutes we were 4-0 down, and the fellow he was marking had scored a hat-trick. And he picked the ball out the net, and as we were walking back to the centre circle, and he said to me, he said, I think I might have made a mistake coming to Fulham.
But he had composure in abundance, didn't he? Jack Charlton tells that lovely story in the '66 final, 3-2 up with minutes to go, and he said, put it out. And what did he do with it?
Richard.
Found Hurst for 4-2.
He was bomb-proof at top level. Calm, serene, had a calculating brain. He used to attract the ball. He'd see danger 4 moves before it ever got to him, and he used to sort that out. Fabulous feet, great pass of the ball, could change direction. He used to drop his shoulder, beat people. One of the endearing moments in my life, we were playing in Brazil, a real hot day. They said he'd no pace. Jairzinho ran at him from the halfway line. He finally took it off Jairzinho just outside of our box.
Just on the box.
Great
Fabulous challenge.
But he waited, and everybody thought this Jairzinho's got pace to burn. He would just go knocking and do Bobby. No, Bobby kidded him, and he had a fabulous brain. As I've always said, the quickest thing on a football pitch is your brain, and he had a lightning brain. And let's not forget, as an ambassador for English football as well, he was probably one of the nicest men you could ever wish to meet. And a big star in my life.
Yeah, pleased you said that. Great. Bobby Moore then, in and captain?
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
Yes.
A long way.
He's our skipper.
Yep.
Bobby Moore, much missed as well. Okay, now we need a centre-half to play alongside him.
This is debatable now. I'm going to go for my choice, and he never played in this position literally for England, but undoubtedly as a kid one of the greatest players I think I've ever seen was Duncan Edwards. To see him play for the Busby Babes and on television, watching it, you know, as years gone by, he'd be a midfield player, he'd be a central defender, and this and that, but the presence that he had over people at 19 years of age, I mean, if that disaster in 1958 had ever happened, this man would probably have got 150 caps. I think if you made a mould of a footballer, the perfect footballer that you wanted to put out on the football pitch, it would have been him. So I would have played him alongside Bobby Moore. And if you'd have had those two playing together as central defenders, I don't think England would have ever conceded a goal, and with Banksy in goal. So my choice would be Duncan Edwards.
Well, you played with a few again, didn't you, at international level?
Yeah.
Roy McFarlane and Roy McFarlane.
He was only 4 at the
Jack
time.
Charlton.
Jack Charlton. Again, the young lad Beattie it was a shame for him, because I thought he was going to go on and be a really top-class player. You go back to the people that I saw handle, at the time, rough centre-forwards like Nat Lofthouse. You know, real tough, strong centre-forwards. Billy Wright handled them all for a small guy. Again, another one who used his brain, clever on the football pitch, great spring, a clever footballer. You can go for the likes of him. Big Jack played to his strengths, headed everything away. You know, had Bobby Moore, the great partnership in our World Cup campaign in '66, they were the perfect fall for each other. Again, this is a very, very difficult one. But I'm going to go back as an old sentimentalist. I think for his size and what he had to handle, and the centre forwards, the old-fashioned centre forwards that were knocking about in those days, and for him to be a top player in that era, I'm going to go for Billy Wright.
Billy Wright. Could you play him alongside Bobby Moore?
Well,
if this team had to go out and perform,
again,
are they very similar?
That would be debatable. But I'm just indulging in a little bit of fantasy here and picking him.
Well, that's what it's all about. Go on, Frank.
Well, I've got a few names down here: Colin Todd, Jackie Charlton, Roy McFarlane, Norman Hunter, Phil Thompson, Terry Butcher, Dave Watson, Emily Hughes, Billy Wright, Tony Adams.
Yeah, there's been some good.
Terrific as well, Tony Adams, in the last couple of years. Possibly the best centre-half I'd seen amongst those, and I'm not taking anything away from Jackie Charlton, who I thought was really formidable. I mean, he was a difficult man to deal with, and he had a great presence on the pitch, was Roy McFarland. Because when he was at Derby at that time under Cloughy, I thought he and Todd, McFarland to us was an absolute nightmare at corner
Well,
kick.
go on then, because we've got to narrow it down. We've got, over on my left, we've got Duncan Edwards, Billy Wright, Roy McFarland.
Yeah.
Can we agree on one?
Well,
shall we take a break and come back and decide?
I've got Duncan somewhere else in my team, so
Right,
Alan
okay.
will get his way because he was...
Well, I'll go with Alan there because I was wanting to put
You
Duncan
can't, because
Edwards
he's just
somewhere
argued
in.
him down.
You have, haven't
I've argued him there because I want him somewhere else.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that
think
means my other
midfield.
man could do
You know,
it.
I think in the interest of fair play, we maybe should take a break here and we'll make a
Have a
definitive
fight.
decision on this when we come back. Okay, we'll be back in a moment or so. Welcome back. We're in the company of Alan Mullery, Alan Ball and Frank McLintock, trying to pick the all-time England 11. And I think, Alan, we have a decision on a centre-half.
We have, and I'm pleased it's all with because when I meet Big Jack Charlton again, he'll batter me. And I haven't picked him, so I'm glad this one's over with. But I'm going to bow. I'll leave Billy Wright out, and I'll bow to these two lads, and we'll go for Roy McFarlane.
Roy McFarlane
Yeah.
is in at centre-half.
Yeah.
That looks a fairly solid defensive partnership as well, doesn't it?
Looks good to me.
But it will start some debate, which is why we're here. Okay, so that's our team so far. Banks, Byrne, Moore, McFarland and Wilson. Now, what are we doing? 3 midfield or 4 in midfield?
4, we're going 4-4-2.
Four in midfield.
Yeah.
Right, wingless wonders or not?
No, I'm going for 2 wingers. I'm
Right.
going for the 2 possibly just about the greatest players that have ever played for English football. And one is Stan Matthews on the right-hand side. And I actually played against him when he was 43. And I went into attack.
You were the same age.
I was 19. I went into a tackle with him, and it was a block tackle, and they rolled the ball over my foot and came away with the ball, and I got some pick off the Leicester players. It was Leicester versus Stoke at the time.
I bet you kicked him.
Well, Richie Norman covered him, and he told him to mark him everywhere, and he ran across the back 4, he ran back again, and he just left a great big hole there. They
Would he
finished-
get away with it in today's game?
He would be still brilliant. Honestly, I believe that he looked after his soul so well, every bit as well as any Italian footballer would do today. He wore heavy boots during the week when he trained, he wore his light ones for a Saturday, he was twinkle toes, he was exceptionally quick, and he was a great crosser of the ball, and he would have adapted. I know modern day guys will turn around and say, yeah, but they've got a full-back that would push right in and people would double up against him. I'm positive he would overcome all of that. He's got a great first touch, great pace, ability to beat people as well.
So you're picking 2 for us before we go any further. You've got
You know-
Matthews
Well, Tom Finney.
and Finney. Matthews and Finney.
Some people reckon was even better than Stanley Matthews, and I did see him playing, and he must have been 46 in a testimonial at Enfield, and he was the best man in the whole pitch.
Labouring a point, but Alan will understand what I mean. That
Alan,
old boots have been very difficult to play in as well.
Alan.
John McGregor's. Yeah.
Man,
Toe caps. I used to hit the toe caps with a hammer to soften them out, you know. I mean, and playing with the ball that had the lace in as well, you know. Tom Finney or Stanley Matthews, when he used to cross the ball, Stan Morton, and he used to cross it with the lace coming the other way so he wouldn't cut his head with it, you know. He was that good. But the thing about picking a wide man on the right-hand side, that my first choice deep down, and I'm going to be outvoted around this table, my first
Shannon?
choice was the little man.
Boy, yeah.
Because to go back, not of all the games he played over in the middle of the park, but when he played for England that day in the World Cup, I don't know, I still don't think he ran out of petrol at all in any of that game. He just went on and on and on. And Schnellinger, that was marking him, I mean, he ended up being sick at the end of the game because he couldn't get near him. So my first choice would have been the little man there.
It's
Right.
embarrassing
Right-hand
picking
side.
somebody's
Well, it is a
second
bit
choice,
in a
isn't
way,
it?
you know, and I know the 50 quid's
If
just come
you
over
want
the
him in,
table.
Alan, if you want him there,
Well, he would have been my first
there's a
choice.
debate here.
Yeah.
Could you play at international level with two wingers in that way?
Yes, definitely.
You could.
Yeah, easily. But my second choice would have been Stan. I mean, as Frank said, you know, to see him, you know, just go up to people and jink past them and drop his shoulder. And he had the same trick over and over again. But he used to murder fullbacks with it, you know. I mean, to have two people of that ilk, you know, Stan at Blackpool and then the little man come along and play for Blackpool. Because when he first started, you know, it was a period of time when Stan left that he went and played outside right. His first position for Blackpool was outside right. You know,
Stan was
what's
Alan's manager, wasn't he?
No.
Wasn't he a manager?
But I know that Barnett's in good hands because he's a good judge.
What, talking about Stanley Matthews?
No, totally. Your knowledge of the game and
Yeah.
players is smashing.
You see, that's what I would have gone for. I would have gone for not only his ability to beat people, but his engine as well. But if I had to make a second choice, it would be Stan.
All right, so you've got Alan Ball right side at the moment. You've got Sir Stan. Let's hear from Alan
Well,
Ball.
I've gone for Sir Stanley as well. From a standing start, he was electric. Again, he was in fantastic condition all the time. And what I like about a winger, my father always taught me that wingers must produce. The end product, the final thing they do, has got to be
Good cross.
to hurt people.
Yeah.
And he always got there, did Stanley. And his quality of ball in was fantastic. Yes, I think he could play today. I was his boot boy in the early days. And believe you me, the boots he wore on match days were paper-thin quart boots they were,
Right.
specially made. But he used to drop that left shoulder up and the ball was gone. But his secret was his standing start. He used to lift the ball over the foot, flick it, gone, end product. Fantastic. On big pitches like Wembley and the big occasion again never got to him. He was very special. The only one person that he never ever played against was my lovely friend Tommy Banks at Bolton. Because Tommy used to just put him down on the gravel right at Burnden Park. And Stanley, the famous story, it was a Boxing Day game, Bolton Blackpool, on the half whale, and then Tommy come walking up to him.
Looking like Bluto.
Brother Stanley, that can do all the tricks that side of that line. If they does the tricks this side, I'll pour thee down there. And Stanley never comes. Too often at Bolton.
I would say he's a very clever man.
So he had a brain as well.
It was a long way down. Still is from that pitch
It is, yeah.
to the
I
running
remember
track at
playing
Burnden
against
Park.
Bolton as a kid with Hartwell.
Two fullbacks.
Hartlebanks, Hopkinson, Hartlebanks,
Oh.
Ennie Higgins Edwards, Butch Stevens, Loftus, Parry and Holding. That was my team.
As I was a 17-year-old for Fulham, we played in the first division in those days, and I'd scored 2 goals in the previous games. And as I was walking across the halfway line, Roy Hartwell looked at Tommy Banks. He went, "Hey, there's that kid that scored 2 goals." He said, "If he gets past me, chip him back." And he did. That was the worst part about it.
He had iron filings on the cornflakes.
So do we need some flexibility in this midfield, or can we name Sir Stanley Matthews right side? Is that a decision?
Well, if it's yes, it would have been my second choice. I'm a little man, but
Yep.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
quite willing to go with
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. Sir Stan in. All right. Okay. Done. Sir Stanley Matthews.